in the tradition of her people, could marry whomever she chose. For some reason which even I found inexplicable, she chose me. "You're not paying attention," she said. "I think you're falling asleep." "I'm not," I replied. "It's just very peaceful out here, and your Aunt Lydia always puts me at my ease." "Our Aunt Lydia?" They were of a pair, dark-haired, olive-skinned, and small. Lydia bore an aristocratic nose which made her look fierce to those who did not know her, while Rebecca's was delicate. It was traditional for married women in their culture to cut their hair and wear wigs, but I would not allow Rebecca to follow that custom. Some things are worth arguing for. "Darling, you must have some opinions. This is to be your wedding too." "Well," I said, sitting up in the cane chair, "I like these little flowers here." There were several small bouquets at our feet, while the two women considered which they preferred. "Hopeless," Lydia said. Rebecca brought a hand to her head, as if I were giving her a headache. "What's wrong?" "Darling, that's baby's breath." "Oh, that's what that is. I like it. That's an opinion, isn't it?" Actually, there was one matter in which we differed, and that was my choice of best man. First of all, it was not customary to have a best man at all, but Rebecca, as a concession to our having a Jewish wedding ceremony, had encouraged me to select one. She had anticipated my choosing Israel Zangwill, my closest friend, but instead I had decided upon my employer, Cyrus Barker. "I like Israel," I told her, "but if it weren't for Mr. Barker, I'd have been dead 1,000 times over. He took me in when I was at my lowest, gave me a situation, a home, and a reason to live. Why, you and I met during our first inquiry together. We would never have met if it weren't for him. I owe the man practically everything." She was terrified of him, I think, though she had not yet actually met him. His reputation, as always, had gone before him. Even Israel quakes in his boots whenever he is forced to come into contact with the Gov. I admit my employer is imposing. I don't think Rebecca was looking forward to staring across at him during our wedding ceremony, towering a head above everyone else in the synagogue. I had a suspicion that Barker was as frightened as she, though he would never admit to it either. He was afraid of nothing and no one. However, within her slight demure 5'1" frame was the ability to affect his entire world. When we first became engaged, he had sent his ward, Bok Fu Ying, to get her opinion of my bride-to-be. The two women had become close friends, but it had still not allayed Barker's concerns. Rebecca was an unknown quantity, one of the few things he could not control. With mere words, she could influence how I thought and what I felt. "What kind of boutonniere would you prefer, Thomas?" "Whatever kind you would like, my dear," I told her, smiling. "You'll be the one staring at it all day." The Gov had arranged his life the way he wanted it. It was black and white, right versus wrong. He knew his friends and enemies. Rebecca, however, was neither. She was a shade of grey that negated his entire system. She was right and good, and she made him nervous, something few people were able to do. "I like your onyx cufflinks," she continued. "They look good with a crisp French cuff. I'll have Mac polish them for me. You don't mind?" "Why should I mind?" "I really must talk to Jacob soon. We have a lot to discuss." "Not if I have any say in the matter." There was a second reason why Barker should be concerned about my fiancée. I had been a comfortable impediment to his own marriage plans, but now the prop was being pulled away. Well, perhaps not his plans per se, but Philippa Ashley's plans, which amounted to the same thing. The widow, Barker's lady friend, wished to bring him to the altar, and she generally got what she wanted. There was a theoretical date for their nuptials set for some time in the future, and he knew it. It was staring him in the face. Rebecca leaned forward and tucked an errant curl behind my ear. Aunt Lydia raised a brow, but was not particularly scandalized. It was a casual